Hey guys, welcome to this post-holiday vlog. Yeah, I know it's the 2nd of January and technically the holidays are still going on because it's New Year's Eve, New Year's weekend, I should say. Just like last week was Christmas weekend. But this is also looked at as the day where a lot of families that came to stay for the holidays are going to be heading back. You know, whether they stayed for Christmas, whether they stayed for New Year's, now they're going to be heading back. And honestly, this might be one of the benefits of the holidays happening on the weekend because of the fact that, you're able to go home afterwards on a weekend, not worry about calling in and saying, hey, I can't work today, because normally whatever job you may have is usually off on that day. Whether or not, like I said, your job is off on the weekends or it isn't. And if it isn't, you just let them know that, hey, I'll be back by tomorrow, and by Tuesday I should be back at work, kind of deal. So yeah, it's one of those. So yeah, it's one of those unique situations to where, it's the busiest time of year, if you will, especially if it falls on a weekend, but it's also the most convenient one, especially when you're heading home the day before, let's say, the third or fourth day of the year, of the new year, that is. But yeah, this year's been this holiday season, I will say, has been really interesting. I mean, as you could tell, basically, we still have our decorations up, and like a lot of people, we're going to probably keep them up for another week or so. Mainly because of the fact that what I believe, in my opinion, what I believe is people keep them up a little longer because they feel that the holidays just come a little too quickly and go a little too quickly. Basically, come and go too quickly than they should. And this is why I understand sometimes that people actually like to start decorating not after Thanksgiving, but after Halloween. So that way they feel like the holidays, are extended a lot longer, and they get that holiday feeling, into them a lot earlier than usual. I mean, this is why sometimes when you go into a retail store, you notice that, along with Halloween, being put up and displayed until basically the week or the day before Halloween officially arrives, you're already seeing Christmas stuff, in the stores, because of the fact that, business-wise, they want to get, because they want to get ahead on, the sales, and as well as get ahead on the displaying of, hey, look what you can get for Christmas and everything, decoration-wise, and things like that. So you can, so that's understandable, the fact that they want to try to get, not only the stores, the companies into the Christmas spirit already, but also the consumers. And I should know from experience that usually towards the end of August into September, you start noticing not just a lot of Halloween showing up, but you start noticing a lot of Christmas showing up. I know this because sometimes when I would go to the back to get some things that we need, we were slow and everything, they would ask me to, hey, can you do this and do that? And I would do it. I would notice that some of the boxes that would come in would have Halloween logos on them. They would have the jack-o'-lanterns on them, along with some seasonal stuff for the fall. But you get, as well as believe it or not, some Thanksgiving stuff. But we wouldn't be able to put any of that stuff out until the timing, till the street date that's on there to put them out and display them. So yeah, it's one of those unique situations. So yeah, it's kind of one of those unique situations to where it's actually the stores, believe it or not, that get you kind of in the mood to start a little early, especially after Halloween, because I can tell you from experience, after Halloween is done and we start clearancing all the Halloween stuff and the costumes and everything for people to buy and utilize next year, we're also starting to fully focus into, Christmas and, getting people into the Christmas mood and, promoting Christmas stuff along with Thanksgiving stuff and everything. So again, it's no wonder that sometimes, you'll look around and you'll see that people are putting out their Christmas decorations a day or so after Halloween or the weekend after Halloween, depending on when it falls, if you catch my drift. So it's really interesting to notice that every year. And this is why sometimes if people start a little later, they usually keep decorations up like these for at least another week or so they can extend that holiday season even more so into the new year, especially if, let's say, the kids don't go back until a week after the first week of the new year. For example, my second oldest nephew and my third oldest nephew, they don't go back to school till next week. And the reason they don't go back till next week is, that's how it's, the school scheduled it. And they scheduled it that way, I'm assuming, because of the uncertainty of what's going on with this whole COVID situation and whether or not they would have to give, students and teachers time, to get, like the vaccines, the boosters, as well as even get tested, just to make sure they don't have it. And that's kind of the case with my nephews before they go back next week. They got to get tested before they enter the classroom. And what's ironic about that is my mom, she goes back tomorrow, and my third oldest nephew, who usually spends a week or so every seasonal break she's on to spend time with her and me, he was kind of surprised, like, wait a minute, you go back on the 3rd, I go back on the 10th. What the heck's going on here, So anyway, long story short, I think that's why they also, keep the decorations up, just in case the kids don't go back until the second week of the new year. But yeah, it's been really interesting. As a matter of fact, it's one of the rare times that what my mom wanted actually happened. She always wants me and my sisters not to get, a little buzzed or tipsy or belligerent sometimes, as well as my niece. And this year she kind of got her wish, my second oldest sister did get a little tipsy, if you will, to a point the other night. But that was it, because, and that was about it. My older sister, she gets a little buzzed, a little, uppity when she has a few drinks and everything. But, usually she makes sure most times that she eats something before she does that, because she knows that if she doesn't eat something, she gets a little more, uppity than usual, if you catch my drift. But yeah, it's been one of those New Year's, where actually my mom, New Year's celebrations, where actually things have been calmed down a little bit. And speaking of the holidays, this is one of those rare times where my mom decided she's just going to shop locally. Along with me shopping online, she wanted to shop locally because of the fact that, she's getting at that age now to where she doesn't really want to travel too much around like we did the past few years, like going to Patterson, Modesto, Turlock, stuff like that. She'd rather stay local. She's getting at that age now where that's more convenient for her, as well as doing things online. But yeah, it's been like I said, it's been an interesting holiday, and I am going to post a video that I've recorded yesterday, last night, where we lit some wishing lanterns, kind of out of, taking a page out of Tangle. And, because my older sister did it the night before to celebrate New Year's. And you'll like it. You'll like it when you see it. So that's all I'm going to say with this vlog, guys, because I'm just trying to keep it short and sweet. And I will talk to you later. Hope you had a safe and